Okay, so we are down here doing some thread organization, and by we, I mean this beast is here, because we know how much she loves bobbins rolling on the floor. So I already had one of these. I need to get my vacuum out. I already have one of these things, so I bought another one at Target to put all my thread in, so it's all in one place, and alleviate this dump bin, because as you can see with all this thread everywhere, it's chaos. So wish me luck. We'll see what we can get in there, and then hopefully I'll just have a little bit that overflows into this double stacking case. So let's do some magic. Okay, so I was in the back at work today, and I was looking for something, and I happened to see that we got this new collection in from Paintbrush Fabrics, or PBS, and it is so stinking cute. I have to show it to you. I don't know what I'm gonna make from it yet, but I showed my sister and my mom, and it is, oh, it is to die for. Like, how super cute is this? This is the one that got me, that caught my eye first, going, are those pirate cats on whales? And yes, they are. And so there's on whales and pirate ships, and oh, I just love it so much. Like, oh, look at these. Oh, they're so cute. I just couldn't help myself. So I haven't bought any yet because I showed it to my sister, and she was like, "Okay, make that for my next, um, make that for my next kid." And I was like, "Okay, you and me both. Like, can I have 5 yards of everything?" Here are some of these prints that I can live without. Like the clouds. These clouds don't really do much for me. Like the teal kind of does. These ones don't. I could live without. And I don't need whales by themselves when I can have little tricksy cats riding on whales. Um, it just cracks me up. Like, oh. So if you have any pattern suggestions for this collection or any thoughts, I am clearly going to be stockpiling a couple baby quilts worth, and then some, because oh, I need it in my life. So it's Sky Adventures. I'm afraid to put the link in the profile in the bio, because then you guys might all buy it before I can get it. A whimsical collection. So cat pirates, magical whales, and starry skies. Like, who would have thought? Like, when I tell you, like, you can find almost anything on fabric these days, like, you can find almost anything. So that is my amusing find at work. And also the perks of working at a fabric shop. You get to see all these goodies right out of the box. So stinking cute. Okay, back to my own sewing reality now, while I daydream about pirate kitties. So here is how our checkerboard on checkerboard kind of all came together, with our kind of pattern rotating through. It is a little more organized than the last one. This one kind of threw me off because when I had it with the black as the dark in the corners like it was supposed to, as you saw, I pondered a little bit, because then when it rotated, the grays ended up touching each other, and I almost was like, well, I can deal with that, but I think to make it happy to make all of us happy. I'm going to rotate it so then this becomes the dark. So then it's touching. I guess the other option would be to redo this all and start with the gray as that, but then that would put basically 3 blacks in a row. I'm gonna leave it as it is. And in other news of useful things I finally bought, I bought 120-inch measuring tape because 60 inches wasn't cutting it. And my mom had one of these when growing up for costumes and stuff, and it was about time. So there's my exciting purchase of the week so far, and now let's get sewing. So other than having to lint roll it, here is the phase 2 of the checkerboard beast. It's kind of fun. From far away it looks really cool, so when I make it nice and little. But now I am going to go on to the quilting phase, and I have more of this same orange stars that I've ironed out, and it just barely, like, it's right on the edge for the width, so I'm either going to play it risky and do it like I've done before, or I may piece something in depending on what I can find. Realistically, if I'm going to be having to piece more batting, I'm probably just going to be risky and really keep my eye on it while it's on the frame, but I'm super excited about this. I hope you are too. So it's guild meeting Saturday, but first we're going to Hobby Lobby to try and find more t-shirts, and hopefully getting here right when they means that there won't be a crazy line. So, and also that they'll have the shirts. So here we go. Okay, t-shirts have been spotted. Let's hope they have a 4T, because that's what I'm looking for. Let's see. This is small, extra small. Okay, there's more somewhere. There's gotta be. Well, here they are, but there is not a single 4T white shirt. So I guess she's just gonna get to tie-dye one. Well, that's a bummer, unless a miracle happens. Maybe I'll try Michael's later. All right, so instead of sitting around waiting for the meeting to start for 45 minutes, we're gonna see if Michael's is a success. Well, Michael's was a bust. They had absolutely nothing as well. So my mom is going to check the one remaining Hobby Lobby in town and see if they have anything. And if they don't, I found on Amazon that they have a pack of 5 for like 17 bucks, and we'll be here in 2 days. And we're planning on tie-dyeing on Thursday, so today is Saturday. So just delays my washing progress, or just makes another load of things to wash, which I mean is not hard to come by. So I'm gonna be going into my guild meeting. I brought snowflake quilt for show and tell today. So today, Esray, I believe is how you say her name. She is Cotton Bourbon on Instagram. So she is a Zoom lecture that we're gonna have on the big screen. So I'm very excited because I think her work is pretty cool. So I'm excited to see what we talk about today and have a little bit of quilty fun. All right, so let's chat about the guild meeting today while I pin this backing in for the version 2 of this checkerboard little quilt top. So as you can see, I decided not to piece anything in. I'm just gonna go rogue and hope for the best, and I think it's gonna be real close to the edge. This is actually like 40 inches wide instead of being the 42 or 44. So that's where my problem comes in, but we're here to live dangerously. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So our guild meeting today had Audrey Essery, I believe is the correct way to pronounce her name. And she is Cotton and Bourbon as her online handle. She's in Kentucky, and so she was like, she told us today, she's like, well, I picked 2 things that were kind of, this is what Kentucky is. And so she talked to us about her quilt journey and all her stuff that she's been doing recently, and how she got to the point where she kind of found that was her style. And she started her first quilt, she said, was a class that she took with her now mother-in-law at the time. I think she said it was like 2018, maybe a little bit earlier. And so it was the Hunter Star, and so she had a lot of traditional things. And then in QuiltCon 2019, I believe she said, that was when she started entering things, and she made entered 4 quilts into QuiltCon, and 2 of them got in, and I believe she said one of them, which was the first in her like radial series, is the one that was selected, and which was really cool to see. And she kind of showed her journey from there, how she started it, and it wasn't like planned to be a series, but then it just kind of, that's what happened. And so she's done a lot of these like radial quilts, which are pretty cool. Like when you look at them, she's got some immaculate piecing. A lot of it is like, I believe it's a combination of foundation paper piecing and curve piecing, because radial, obviously we've got a lot of curves going on. And then she's also done, which is what really got my attention, she's done a lot of hand dyed. So she's dyed a lot of her own fabric and did like a series of like watercolor quilts, which was really cool. I believe one of them was at QuiltCon in Austin when I went. But after hearing that and people asking questions about it, and somebody else in my guild that's super into dyeing her own fabric, she apparently has a lecture on her website about things she wishes she knew when she was getting started hand dyeing fabric. So I think I'm going to download that lecture and listen to it, because I'm very intrigued by dyeing my own fabric. As you saw, I bought my tie-dye kit, which I'm super excited to say that Matt Cox and MA Couture Crafting, we are getting a little collab going together with some different ways of dyeing our own fabric. So my first version is going to be dyeing with a 3-year-old and doing some tie-dye, and we're going to do her curves book. So be sure to tune in for that. I think we're looking at mid-September, and we're going to do the curve, her 3-yard quilt book that just got released. So we're each going to pick a pattern from there. So I'm super excited about that. But I've always, like I mentioned before, I wanted to do ice dyeing and all sorts of, I think it'd be super fun. And she just said that she doesn't even use the PFD. She uses just regular Kona white, and she uses the 108 wide back. So not even, so I'm super intrigued. I'm ready to have some fun and do some different dyeing. I think that's gonna kind of make things a little more personal and a little bit more kind of a different way to add some creativity into things. When I was in like elementary school, I was in GATE. So if you're not familiar, GATE stands for Gifted and Talented Education. And so it was like an after school program. And before I even knew anything about sewing and stuff, I actually did batiks. So like we did the wax and then dyed our fabric, and then melted the wax off. And so somewhere in the vicinity of my life, those batiks might still exist. So it would be cool to find those. I don't even know if I did anything with them. But that's, who would have thought it would come full circle and take me back to like 2nd or 3rd grade growing up. But yeah, so I am intrigued by that. I will put her link in the description below in case you haven't already heard of her or haven't seen her work. It's pretty cool. So it does make me want to feel inspired and encouraged to enter into QuiltCon. Quite possibly this year. I have some ideas brewing, but her first year that she entered 4 quilts and 2 of them got selected to show. So I can't knock that for trying. So I believe submissions are due open between September and October. So if I'm gonna make something, I gotta get on that. But if I do enter something, I'm planning on doing something in like the small quilt category. I'm not gonna make a big ol' lap size creation. So now this is all pieced in and I gotta go make some batting. So we're scrappy batting it up. So yeah, this is about 40 inches square, I believe, or just below, because it's 5, so 8, 8, 16, 32, yeah, about 40. So we're gonna be running it right to the edge, but it's gonna be fun. So everything is all loaded in. I'm gonna do this cool gray 9 thread for my top thread. It's kind of close to this Gothenburg color. My bobbin is a slightly different shade. It really doesn't matter because this is my backing. So I'm gonna do the same design. I've just made it 2 inches smaller so that these shapes will be a little bit smaller, and we'll see how that looks on this one. So let's get to quilting. So I think I like the smaller scale a lot better on this one. I don't know, it just sizes better with the little checkerboardies. And then here's our back. It actually looks pretty good with the gray on there. So now we're going to trim this up, and then it gets to join its friend while it waits for binding. So the last thing we're doing today is we're going to pre-wash all these t-shirts, and then my 5 yards of PFD is in here as well. And so I'm going to put this in there as one big piece and then cut it up later, because if you know when you pre-wash how all the threads start to unravel, I don't need 10 ends of unraveling. I just need 2. So I'm going to let it be one big mess with these t-shirts, and then we'll be ready to tie-dye later this week.